This is a beautiful pussy willow, and this fence is about 6 feet high, so that looks to be about almost 3 times that, so maybe 16, 17, 18 feet. And most of the little flowering parts are up high. You can see them from a distance though, especially against a green background. And it's very beautiful. It is mid-February in zone 7. And what I'm going to be doing is pruning this back by pollarding, by cutting it back pretty severely. And here we are looking from the other side. There are lots and lots of buds. It's very beautiful. It's been blooming for several weeks. But those buds will get bigger and bigger and won't look as good. So I'm going to prune it back. You see it produces many new branches, many suckers at the bottom. I'm going to remove all those little ones. And this is an example of what will happen if you make a cut. There are, I guess, basal cells, stem cells that will send out new branches at every cut that you make. Here's another really good example of that process. That was cut, it just sends out lots of new branching. And otherwise, this can get up to 35-40 feet, no problem. You can't see the buds. It becomes too much. This really is a massive, vigorous, fast-growing willow. And so what I'm going to do is cut them all back, all the small branches back to these main 8 or 9 branches that are about 6 feet high. And I used to do it alternating, leaving some of the taller branches, but I think this year I'm going to cut down most all of them. So here we have the pussy willow, and the little buds have really grown big, and pretty soon I'll be cutting it again. There you can see some of the smaller ones. The leaves are beginning to come out. So it's mid-March, and last year this was pollarded, which means it was cut all the way down, and I'll show you that in a minute. But it looks like some of these have grown out 8 feet, maybe 6, 7, 8 feet in 1 year. So I'll show you how the pollarding occurred. So here we have it from the other side, and you can see that, yeah, some of them grew 8 or 9 feet. They were all cut to this level here, which is about 5 to 6 feet. And you can see how big these buds now are. This is normally not the way you see it. Usually you see it when it's smaller. Now there's some right up here. These are the smaller ones. Usually you harvest it at this stage. Called pussy willows because those look like the little toes of a cat, which is true, they really do. They last for years in the house. So what I'm going to do again, this pollarding did work. You can see how it sends out new branches. So basically I will cut all of these branches off, and there will only be these thick main branches, and it will look like it's dead for a couple months, but then it will send out new growth. A very aggressive grower, grows very quickly, and really is a medium-sized tree. So be careful where you plant this. I believe there are smaller varieties coming out now, so you may want a smaller variety. And it gets very thick with foliage, and so that's a perfect place for birds to hide. So there's an old nest. It's starting to leaf out now, so this would be a good time to cut it all back. And you can see this is quite a big bush. But very beautiful, especially in January, February, March, when there's not much else going on. And these things are interesting. These buds, when they explode out. Here you can see how they just grow from the smaller buds. Very funky looking, very different. A little bit of green in that one. And so this is just producing pollen. This will not produce any seeds. They are a kind of tree that is either male or female, and this is a male one. It's just producing pollen. It will not produce seeds, which is great because I wouldn't want 5 million of these. So that's all 1 year's growth. And this is what I mean by pollarding. Cutting off all the shoots from last year. And you can see it's very dramatic and very hard to do. But that's the kind of growth that you get in 1 year from every single one of these branches. Now it will stay like this, dormant, for about 2 months. So the rest of March, April, into the end of May, it's the early summer almost, and then it will start to grow. So starts maybe sometime in May, June, July, August, September. So for 5 or 6 months it grows up to 8-9 feet. So this is pollarding. And there are the bundles. There'll probably be 2 bundles. And I removed most of the small little ones down the bottom. If you let those grow, they'll become larger trunks too. But it's major surgery, but it does not hurt it at all. So last year was the first year I took absolutely every branch off, like I will do. I'll finish those 2 off, and came back fine. And it makes it easy to harvest because all you have is small branches. So it's about, these branches are about 5 to 6 feet high, so it's doable. Unbelievable how much it grows. So very beautiful, fun to do too.